Mr. Joe Lycett! Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Hello, everybody. You well? Oh, lovely. Thank you, lovely. Give me a cheer if you're from London. Lovely. Give me a cheer if you're from Birmingham. Oh, cool. Which part of Birmingham are you from? Walsall. Gutter trash. Oh, my word. Hell, I will be slagging you off later on in the show. Don't worry about it. Have you travelled from Walsall for the show? Oh, thank you. Did you get the train? I heard the trains were quite bad. It was fine. It was all right. Oh, lovely. So did you get on the fast one, on the Virgin one, or did you? No, you didn't. The cheap, the Chiltern. Proper gutter trash, this lot. Lovely aircon on the Chiltern, though, isn't it? Lovely. I do that journey a lot. I wasn't going to start the show with this, but here we are now. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming along. Give me a cheer if you feel like you've travelled the furthest. Where have you travelled from? The woman who put her hand up. That's the one I'm looking at. You weren't expecting a follow-up question, were you? I'm going to come down to your level. Not intellectually, of course. Hello there. Don't panic, it'll all be fine. What's your name? Flora. Hello, Flora. And who are you here with, Flora? Are you courting? Banging. When did you start banging? It's the first date. No, is it actually? And you're this trashed. Jesus. Is it a Tinder or is it like... It is, oh, okay. Well, this is being immortalised on my DVD, you realise. So, I hope you marry. If you get married, I'm coming to the wedding. We're all coming, aren't we? We're going to have a lovely time. Maybe have a glass of water in the interval. I'm worried about you, Flora. Does someone know you're out? I like the look of him. You look sweet, but you never know. You know, you never can... What do you do? What are your prospects? Oh, no, I wasn't asking you, Flora. I feel like you've got lots of prospects. You're a psychotherapist? OK, what do you do? You make stuff in China. He's a drug dealer, isn't he? He's a drug dealer. Good luck to you, Flora. What's your name, man that makes stuff in China? Paul. Paul and Flora, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Feels like a lasting relationship, I feel. Have you just... How long have you both been single? I feel like we're on Love Island now. How long have you both been single? Flora? 3 years? 2 years? OK. 6 months? OK. So, about time, yeah, it's ready to... Yeah. I've been single for about 2 years. Ready to fuck all of you. This is how I get... This is how I sort of allure you in, just by sitting in this very attractive way. Well, welcome to the filming of my DVD. Love your top. Where's that from? You've no idea. You've stolen a top. What's your name? Zara. Zara. Hello, Zara. Is there any chance that it's from Zara? What do you think of this top?
I like it.
Do you like it? What do we think? Right, because... So, I don't normally wear this, apparently, because we're filming it. The shirt that I normally wear is a bit much. But I put it here. Apparently, this is a bit much. I mean, look at this. I wanted to wear that. I couldn't work out if it looked like I'd sort of collapsed at a marathon. Do you know what I mean? Julian Clary had fucked a Ferrero Rocher, and here we are. So I've gone with this number. Welcome along. I'm so thrilled that you're all here, and there's all these bloody cameras everywhere. Thank you so much for coming. This is extraordinary. There's so many of you. It's lovely. Who are you here with, Sarah? Is this your friend? Hello, Jess. Hello, nice to see you, Jess. Are you well?
I'm great.
Are you eating well? Are you hydrated? What are you drinking? 2 Heinekens. Oh, my God. Look at these basic bitches down here on the I like it, though. 2 Heinekens. I'd love to have a drink. I might have one later. I feel like I've got stuff to do now. And then I'll have one later. Give me a cheer if you're drinking. I'm pleased to... Yes, lovely, good. I did Dry January. Did anyone do Dry January? No, I don't recommend it. Yes, I learnt one thing. My friends are fucking boring. That's what I learnt. If I have to look at another baby picture, sorry if you're preg or if you've had a child, but just spare me your shit, honestly. Really good way of not looking at baby pictures. Repeatedly and aggressively shout, no! They go away after a while. It's marvellous, marvellous. I've done it twice now. Did it last year when I was living with mother and father, Dave and Helen, great couple of lads. And this might be oversharing this early on in the show, but as a result of dry January, I got a lot of morning wood, shall we say, a little stiffy in the D, as us lads say, don't we? And a mechanic came round to collect my car, and Mum answered the door. She shouted up, she said, "Joe, you got your car keys?" I was having a dream about Idris Elba. As is my right. I had a little tent effect in the pyjamas. Not a full yurt, just a tent. And I tried to suppress it with my hand in my pyjama pocket, but it didn't really work. So what I did is I tucked it between my legs. Now, I don't know if anyone's walked down a staircase with a semi trapped in their gooch. But it's fraught with peril. I got to the bottom step and then I tripped and it sprang out. Sort of baby punching its way out of my mangina. Anyway, long story short, the car's fine, but Mum's not happy. She's not happy. I will be slagging her off later on in the show, so don't worry about that. Helen will be getting it both barrels. Did dry January again this year for different reasons. I went to the doctor last summer and I was feeling tired all the time and he did some tests and apparently I'm deficient. I'm deficient in vitamins B, D, folic acid and omega-3. And he said, 1, eat better because I eat loads of trash, and also go to a pharmacy, get a supplement with all of these in, you'll start to feel better. So I went to Boots. The only supplement that has all of these in is pregnancy support. So I've been on pregnancy support for the last few months, and I tell you what, I feel like a pregnant woman. I sit down backwards onto chairs, I do that one, talk about myself the whole fucking time. I'm a pregnant woman. Sorry if you're preg, I'm going to be slagging you off now. It's just, I'm turning 30 this year, so many of my friends are having kids. I've got a text, actually, which you can use if you'd like. I'm so thrilled with it. If somebody's just had a baby, I'll text them, I'll say, "Are you sleeping?" Because inevitably they won't be, and they go, "Oh, no, I haven't slept for days," that kind of reply, nonsense. And then I'll go back, and I'm so thrilled with the wording of this, I go back and I say, "It'll all be worth it when they're softly stroking your hair as you slip into oblivion." It's like Shakespeare, isn't it? Marvellous. Met one of my friend's kids last year. Friend I went to university with, her daughter. I avoided this child for 4 years. She's 4 years old. I'd heard bad things. Met her last year. She's the worst person I've ever met. And I've met Eamon Holmes. I won't use her real name, that would be unfair. Let's call her Mugabe. And she was just spoiled, really. We were sat at dinner and she was here and she was kicking me in the legs. And at one point she caught my shin and I went, "Fuck." She started crying. The mum said, "Please don't swear in front of my child." I was like, "Oh, is that your child?" I thought someone just condensed North Korea into a small woman, actually. Little bitch. But I've got a goddaughter who I adore. She is 11, and I think she might be a genius because she loves painting, and I've got this office in Birmingham, so I took her to the office to do some painting, and we painted this mural on the wall, and while we were painting it, I said to her, "What do you think art is?" just out of curiosity. And she thought about it, and she said, "Well, it's trust." And I said, "What do you mean by that?" And she went, "Well, if you trust something's good, then it is." I was like, fucking hell, that's the most profound thing anyone's ever said to me from an 11-year-old. Like, have another go on the bong, what are you going to say next? When the meow meow came out, the things she was saying, extraordinary. So yes, I'm trying to be healthier. I love a full fat Coke and I'm on Diet Cokes now and I'm struggling with it, really. Funnily enough, I was at a university reunion, I was drinking a Diet Coke, and I went up to a girl who I didn't know that well at university, and I was holding this Diet Coke, and I said to her, "Oh, hello, how are you? What are you up to now?" And she went, "I hate that. I hate small talk." I'm sorry, I'm not sure how conversation works with you now, then. How did the death of your father affect your sex life? Just straight on in. She said, "You shouldn't be drinking that." And I said, "Why?" Now, what I think she meant to say was, "It's full of aspartame." What she actually said was, "You shouldn't be drinking that. It's full of apartheid." I knew it was bad, didn't realise it was that bad. Bloody hell. I tried being a fruitarian. That's where you can only eat things that have fallen from trees. I managed one day, I had 3 cooking apples and an owl. Arguably the best joke of the show. That pissed it away in the first section. There she goes. Off she flies. Bless she. I had another version of that joke, which was 3 cooking apples and a small boy, but I felt like it was potentially too much. We're going to go to an interval shortly. Before we do that, I'd like to tell you about a little project I've been working on with the EDL, the English Defence League. Any members in? Any members? Occasionally there's a crossover with my audience with the EDL. If you're not familiar with the EDL, they don't like Muslims or hair. Those are the two things they despise. Muslims and hair. There was a rally last summer, a rally in Birmingham. You might have seen this picture from it. This is a girl called Sophia Khan. She was facing up to one of the EDL members with this... Yes, she's amazing, Sophia Khan. With this serenity and calmness on her face with all this aggression from the EDL member. In the weeks preceding this rally, I discovered somebody I went to school with, who I am erroneously still friends with on Facebook, is a member of the EDL and was trying to generate support for this rally with his own Facebook group. Now, I like to troll people on social media using various aliases that I create, so I went on as Angela Middlebin. And I wrote, "Hi guys, looking forward to the rally in Brum later. Think it'll be a lovely day for it. I work in PR with some high-profile right-wing and right-leaning commentators, such as Katie Hopkins, Piers Morgan and Fern Britton." Now, Fern Britton is, I don't think, right-wing in any way, but she blocked me on Twitter, so fuck her. I know, Fern Britton of all people. I felt like I've been blocked by Gandhi. I'm now unblocked, I should mention that. It's a long story, really. I won't go into it. There was a threat on her life. Let's move on. She'll be dead by dusk. She's actually a very nice lady. I continued. "One of my clients brought to my attention the fact that there is an organisation already using the name EDL. This is all true, I did some research. It is a company called Electricité du Liban and supplies electricity to the country of Lebanon. According to recent stats, Lebanon is 54% Muslim, which means, in effect, that the EDL is powering Muslims. As a result, I think an immediate rebrand of the EDL and change of name ahead of the rally is necessary. I've discussed this with my colleagues in the office, and we have come up with the name Eyes on Islam, or ISIS for short. See you all there, love Angela. Within 3 minutes, somebody called Ben put, join ISIS sounds a lot like ISIS. Well done, Ben! He suggested, what about UK Defence League? You could have @UKDL on Twitter. Now, I did some research into this to see if this is viable. Unfortunately for Ben, it's not. There's already an @UKDL account on Twitter. It's private, but you can read the blurb. This is the blurb. "We all start off in nappies. Many of us will end up in them. So why not enjoy them in between as well?" It's an adult nappy wearer, which... Fine. Each to their own. You do you. But I'm not sure the vibe the EDL's going for. So I suggested, what about the Islamic Cessation Group, or ISIS for short? Ben put, still sounds like ISIS. Well done, Ben! I put, how about Islam should immediately stop, or ISIS for short? He worked it out then. He put, fuck off this group, Angela. I said, OK, Ben, sorry for the hassle. I've got to go to the opticians anyway. Got a pus-filled growth on my cornea. I think it's an eye cyst. Bit of pun fun there. Bless you. Right, interval time. I often think my audiences are funnier than I am, so I'd like to test that theory with a little Twitter game. I'd like you to tweet me in on @Joe Lycett, that's my Twitter name, and I'd like you to tweet me in with make a TV presenter sexy. Something like Jizzy Carr, but funnier than that. That's the best I can come up with. Send as many as you can think of in. We'll go through the best ones after the interval. We'll do 20 minutes, and then that's it. See you shortly. So what did you think?
You call that a joke?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try better next time.
Not better, best!
I know, I'm sorry. I've let you down. I've really let you down. I didn't mean...
You should be ashamed of yourself. Ashamed, I tell you.
Right, I'm really feeling like I can do better this time.
Not better, best!
OK, best.
Show me the money!
I will. Good interval, good interval. My agent was being a real prick back there. I've been reading your tweets. Some fucked up people in this room. Oh! Right. If I call your name out, if I read one of your tweets out, could you stand up for us? Could we have house lights up for this as well, just so I can see them? Oh, also, Leon, are you all right to... This is Leon, everybody. Say hi, Leon. Are you all right to come out and... So they said, this is my cameraman. I can do whatever I like with him. I mean, if anyone's got suggestions... Hello, Leon. So we're going to zoom in on people. Oh, lovely, look at that. Let's just have a test. Oh, yes. What are these guys? What's your names?
Tony.
Tony and?
Richard.
Tony and Richard. How do you know each other, Tony and Richard?
Partners.
Partners, okay. Well, we've got a lovely picture there. Smile for us. Very nice. That's going straight on Twitter when we finish the show. Find these men. Right, let's have a look at your tweets. There's some really funny ones. Really funny ones. Some people didn't really understand. Oh, love Zoe Ballbag from Fraser. That's good. Where is Fraser, actually? Stand up, Fraser C04. Where are you? Hello, Fraser. 103 followers. 104 now, I'm following you. And I will follow you home. You sent in Joe Likes Dick. Thanks, mate. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Just like it. I'm not in love with it. I like a dick. I like a dick. Thanks, Fraser. Round of applause for Fraser. Somebody, rather than Mel and Sue, somebody's put Bell and Pooh. This one's really nice. Where's Dave Moore? Dave Moore. Tweet time, Dave? Where are you? You up top there as well? You only sent one in, Dave. You haven't given much information on your profile either. You've got 92 followers. The last thing you did was retweet Jonathan Ross. This isn't a Jonathan Ross-based tweet. What'd you do, Dave? A finance analyst. Gosh, it's boring people up there, isn't it? Where do you live, Dave? In Kent. Oh. Oh. Mixed response from the room for Kent. People down here not sure they like Kent. But then some other people over there love it. Hey, it takes all sorts, doesn't it? You sent in, Dave, Tess sucks off your dad daily. That's really nice. Really lovely work. Round of applause for Dave. Lovely stuff. Daily. Sucks off your dad daily. Mike Blair, where are you? Pickle246. Where is he? Right at the back. Quite right. Let's have a look at your profile. 22 years old, Arsenal. You're an Arsenal fan. Hey! Hey! Do you watch the game, geezer? Great squad, wasn't it? Great squad. Lovely squad. Was there a game today? I don't know. I have no idea. You like tennis, food, and travelling. Lovely. Mike sent in Benedict Cuminghurst snatch. So that's great bit of lad banter, that movie. Did you get a nice shot of him? Lovely. Thanks, Leon. You're a bloody lifesaver. You can't catch me. He's good, isn't he? You don't have to say anything. Just nod or shake your head. Do you run? Are you a runner? Not really. So if I ran away. Are you a fighter? I'll kill you dead. Oh, he's frightened now. God, I've never felt more masculine. I've got a weapon as well. I thought I was going to do it then. No, I like you, Leon. You've got a good spirit. And lovely soft palms. Next, Right, I've got two favourites. Let's find the two faves. Where's Nicola Bosdet? Nicola? Hello. Oh, what are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Love. What colour? Are you wearing a pink top? Is that pink? Orange. Can't see colours. Can't colourblind in this shed. Oh, caution. This account is temporarily restricted. That's literally just come up. You're seeing this warning because there's been some unusual activity from this account. Genuinely, look at that. Unusual. Have you used Twitter recently? You've made a new login. Well, before... So I'm still seeing the tweet, though. You sent in David Dickon, your son. Is that the sort of thing that you normally tweet? Somebody else tweeted it for you? Oh, I love that. Oh, Nicola, like, I literally can't go to your account now. Oh, I've pressed yes, view profile now. 0 followers. Okay. 1 follower. And that's literally your only tweet. I love that. Well, nice to meet you, Nicola. Final one. Where's Pippa Lowran? Am I saying that right? Lochran? Lowran? Where are you? Hello, Pippa. Where are you from, Pippa? Oh, I love Manchester. I lived there for 4 years. Do you still... Yeah, cool. Do you know her? Do you still live in Manchester? No. Oh, no. I'm better than that now. Where do you live now, Pippa? In Harrow, lovely. You've got 83 followers. I'll give you a follow, why not? Your background is of Adele. You like Adele? Love Adele, yeah, I went to see it live as well. You sent in quite a few, but you sent in my absolute favourite one, which was Adrian Child Molester. It's really good. What I love about it as well, you seem so sweet. You sent in Adrian Child Molester. Round of applause for Pippa, round of applause for everyone. Marvellous. Should we take a selfie using that camera? Is that possible? Where should we do it from? Maybe back here? You all want to be in a selfie? Why not? Can I hold it like I'm doing a... Smile, everyone. Cool, I think we've got it. Round of applause for Leon. Thanks, Leon. Right, let's talk about art now. I'd like to talk about art. Yeah, a bit of culture. My mother retired a few years ago, and she's now painting in her retirement. This is one of my mother's paintings. Isn't that glorious? This is of our family friend Patrick. Not only does it look like Patrick, I feel like it captures his essence. A beautiful painting. Based on these, I've been inspired to do my own. They've not come out as well, I'm going to be honest with you. I did one of Amanda Holden with a Britain's Got Talent buzzer for a head. Slightly different things that we're doing. Mum will do this sort of thing, 2 women on a bench having a conversation, beautiful, skillful watercolour there, the skill and the time it takes to do something like that. I did a man having coffee poured in his arse. We're just doing different things. We're doing different things. This came out, I was on holiday with a friend of mine who just had a colonic irrigation. I've never had one, so I was like, what's it like? He's like, I've not had one either. This girl, quite attractive, took me into a room, put a tube up. I thought the tube did everything, but actually she took it out, stood me over this thing, and then just said, go. And she said, I can wait here, I can wait outside, whatever you want. I was like, who's asking her to stay? No, look me in the eye. I'd like us to share this. So based on that, I did this painting. I haven't got a name for it yet. I was thinking maybe Britain in springtime, but I'm open to suggestions. Do send your tweets in. This art thing has got to a bit of a head just this week, actually. Mum and I, we submitted to the Royal Academy. Every year, the Royal Academy take paintings from amateurs, from professionals, whatever. They also take sculptures. Mum submitted 2 of her paintings, beautiful paintings. I submitted for a laugh. I knew I wasn't going to get in. I submitted this sculpture, which I called Chris. I made it pissed last summer. I just submitted it, forgot about it. A few weeks later, I got an email from the Royal Academy that read this. Dear Joe, it's come to our attention that the price of your artwork, Chris, is £10.5 million. I was originally going to do 10 and I thought, fuck it, put the other half on. Owing to the high selling price, we just wanted to check this was correct, and this is what we would like to have printed in our list of works should your work be selected for the exhibition. If you did wish for this to be the published price, could you kindly advise on the insurance value of the work? Well, I went back to them and I said, gosh, did I really put £10.5 million? It should be £12.5 million. And then just put Brexit for no reason. I recently took it to Bonhams to get it valued. They asked me to leave, but I expect the insurance value is £4.99 or the equivalent in Argos vouchers. Didn't receive a reply, didn't expect a reply, to be honest. I thought, right, it's not going to get in. Suddenly, we both get emails. Mum's paintings rejected. Chris is in. I go... Go to the Royal Academy. I went there on Monday. There I am outside, very excited. All the other sculptures are on plinths. I'm like, bloody hell, Chris is going to be on a plinth in the Royal Academy of Art in bloody London. Walking around, can't find him anywhere. They've only put him in the fucking corner, haven't they? Gee. He is available to purchase for £12.5 million. I will not accept offers. Mum's really annoyed at the minute. The relationship's frayed. This started, I was living with them last year, and they got annoyed with my bathroom habits. I love a long bath, and I love to eat in the bath, and I had some Greek yogurt in the bath, because I'm in show business. And unbeknownst to me, some of the yogurt ended up in the bath. I then went into my room to get changed. Mum comes into the bathroom, looks in the bath. She's like, have you had the biggest wank anyone's ever had? I came in, there's blueberries in there. I was like, oh yeah, I've shat out perfect blueberries as well, Helen. Just squeeze those through my urethra. The real friction is on Twitter. Mum is also on Twitter. She is at Joe Lycett. You can follow her. She posts her paintings. She also searches not only my name, but searches what people are writing to me, what people are writing about me. So she will have seen all the tweets that you sent tonight. She loves reading them. She'll go through all of them. And she also sometimes will show me tweets when, like, I've been on telly. Every time you go on telly, there's a bit of nastiness. It comes with the job. There was one she showed me which I loved, which was, I'd just been on Blankety Blank with David Walliams, which, to be fair, was dog shit. And I got a tweet which just said, you're not funny. And I appreciated the succinctness of the tweet, but what I loved about it is I looked at the woman's profile who'd sent it, and she's a self-esteem coach. Maybe she's a self-esteem coach of a rival comedian. Maybe Ramesh was feeling down on his luck. I thought he'd bring me down. But this is something I'm getting used to, but sometimes people will now tweet when they've seen me out and about, say they've seen me somewhere, they might take a picture, and that's fine, comes with the job. But sometimes I don't want Mum to know where I've been. And this, the worst example for this, I said to her one morning, I said, I'm going to Manchester to see my friend Josephine, we're going to have a light lunch, and then I'm going to get the train back to Birmingham. Went to Manchester, got totally shit-faced with Josephine, had a pasty on the train on the way home, little pasty to soak up the alcohol. Got home, Mum was like, oh, being healthy, are you? I was like, yeah. I mean, I had a couple of glasses of wine, but I had a salad at lunch. She was like, explain this. Somebody took a picture of me on the bloody train, didn't they? Really enjoyed that pasty, as you can see. Looks worryingly like that when you put it together as well. Could have been Prime Minister. Oh, I got her back, though, because I did a tweet. It wasn't actually about her, but she was offended by it anyway. The tweet was, to find out your dirty prostitute name, take your mother's surname and put her first name in front of it. 1,000 retweets, thank you, Twitter. So based on that, and also just because I'm turning 30 this year, I've moved out. I've moved into an up-and-coming area of Birmingham. Whether it'll up or come or not, I don't know. It's called King's Heath, the area that I'm in. Oh, can I have a lift? I thought I was buying a nice place, really, but it's a bit of a dump. And, there's, damp in there and all sorts of problems. And my dad, who's just retired, he's taken over as project manager of the project. Official reason for this is that I'm too busy to coordinate all of the works myself, couldn't possibly do it all myself. The real reason is I can't speak to tradesmen. I tried to speak to the electrician over WhatsApp. He doesn't like an emoji. Oh! 4 aubergines, he got very confused. Amazing. He seems to know. He was a teacher before he retired. He knows loads of stuff about houses. He goes up to floorboards and he'll go, yeah. Won't tell me what that means, but he knows something. There was a door that needed fixing. He just came round and made and fitted a door. I was like, how do you know to do that? You're a teacher. He's like, I don't know. I just sort of know from birth. From birth? Sorry, all the other kids are in the nursery crying. You're there making a trestle table. Come on, mate. I think what happens, it has to. When you become a father, you go to some sort of dad's school where they teach you how to do all of this shit, but not how to get emotion into a text message. The messages I sent to father, long rambling endeavours, just landed, wonderful holiday, food was fantastic, weather was glorious, happy to be back, but sad to not be in that wonderful weather. How are you? Is all well? The reply will just be, yes, fine. Are you a hostage? I find it quite weird talking about my father on stage. I never did it. I've been doing stand-up 10 years, and I didn't do it when he was a teacher because I didn't want to undermine his authority. But also, there's just no real friction with my dad, really. He's just a lovely man. We just get on really well. When I came out as bisexual on my 21st birthday, obviously very nervous about that, didn't really know what he was going to say, and he was so lovely. I said to him, Dad, I think I might be bisexual. And he went, that's fine, as long as you're happy, I don't mind, whatever. And I was sort of annoyed. I was sort of like, punch me, give me a story. And I tried to escalate it. I was like, I'm taking drugs. Don't tell your mother. I'm listening to Snow Patrol. Get out of my house. So he's been amazing, he's been extraordinary. I've also been getting help with the house from a friend of mine called Peter. You'll learn a lot about Peter in this show. He's one of my oldest, dearest friends. He's hard to explain in a short way, in a sort of succinct way. I find a good way of giving you a bit of an idea of what Peter's like is to tell you that he once tried to spend 24 hours in a 24-hour Tesco. Like it was a challenge. He got kicked out after 21 hours for trying on too many clothes. I've known him for, since we were about 12. We didn't go to the same school, but we had similar friendship groups. We've grown up together. We didn't fall out, but we fell apart because he went to Japan after university, and he's just been back for about a year, and now he's back. He's doing little jobs, different things, trying to make ends meet. One of the jobs he does, because he speaks fluent Japanese, is to teach people in England, Japanese people in England, how to speak English. And he's got a middle-aged student called Aiko, who he set some homework for. The homework was an email. I pride myself on writing emails. Aiko's written, I think, the greatest email in the history of email. The homework was to write an informal email of complaint with an aggressive tone. This is what she actually wrote. Dear Sarah, you probably know why I'm writing you, you bitch. Start every email with that from now on. You smashed glasses and made terrible racket. It was so evil. Daft bastard. Whatever, make up for it immediately. Bob's your uncle, Aiko. Isn't that strong? Full marks, of course. To Aiko, it's hard to learn a language. I'm trying to learn German at the minute. I went with German because I just thought it was funny. Hazelnut, Hasselnuss, it's a funny language. And I'm using Duolingo. Do people use Duolingo? It gives you like a composite sentence. It sounds like I'm sponsored. I'm not. It's just good. It's a good app. They give you composite sentences. They get progressively harder. One of my friends is on really advanced German at the minute, and one of the sentences he had to translate the other week is, "It is a war crime." I'm not sure when that's going to be useful, really, sort of wandering around Berlin. This sauerkraut is disgusting. It is a war crime, how disgusting it is. So, yeah, Peter's helping me out. he's a really funny guy. He loves comedy, and we go to the pub a lot and we sort of riff on comedic ideas. He loves to create comedy characters. He likes to create the ideas of what people could be like. And he's created one that I love, which is the idea of a homeless man who's into really specific things. So, you know that most homeless people will ask for enough for a cup of tea, that kind of thing. He likes the idea of a homeless man that goes, sorry, mate, I can see you're busy. You haven't got a manual for a Fiat Punto, have you? Just... really specific stuff. Sorry, but I shouldn't ask. You haven't got a Fabergé egg, have you? Just really niche. Brilliant idea. But he's also a prankster. He's a troll, and I'm a troll, but he did it to me, and I didn't like it. It was one of the worst things that happened to me, and actually, funny enough, it's happened to me here. We were in the pub the week before I was doing the Royal Variety. It was only with Charles and Camilla, not the proper ones. Who gives a shit? And he said to me, how are you feeling about Royal Variety? And I said, I'm really nervous, I don't know what I'm going to say. There's loads of protocol. Obviously you can't swear, but there's loads of things you wouldn't realise where little things that you just can't say. And I said, I'm really nervous, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he knew what he was doing, because he went, well, you wouldn't want to say Diana was murdered, would you? I was like, no, why did you put that in my head the week before Royal Variety? it was rolling around in my head the whole bloody week, and I was stood side of stage. It was literally just there at Royal Variety, because it was in this room, and I was quaking with nerves, and I don't normally get that nervous about stand-up. Got my little jacket on. I was really shivering with nerves. I could see Charles and Camilla through a gap in the curtain. They were up there somewhere, proper shaking, and I was going through my notes on my phone to remind myself of what I was going to do, what my material was going to be, and I shouldn't have told him, but I told him what time I was going on stage, and he texted me seconds before I went on stage, and it was just a picture of Diana on her wedding day. And then underneath, don't let her down. Absolute bell end. So he's been helping out. I say he's been helping out. He's been giving me bad advice, actually. There was an archway in the living room, and it had a fireplace in it years ago, and I didn't know what to do with it. And he went, oh, you like posh things? Oh, you like posh things? Why don't you get a log burner? So I got a log burner on his advice, since discovered from a quite sanctimonious friend of mine, shouldn't have got a log burner. They came round, they were like, actually, you shouldn't have got a log burner, actually. It's very bad for the environment to burn logs. I'll send you a book about it. And to be fair, the book burnt beautifully. That was lovely. Farrow and Ball paint, he suggests. He's like, oh, you like posh things? Get posh paint, Farrow and Ball paint. Farrow and Ball has a shop in Solihull in the Midlands, in Birmingham. Solihull, it's still Birmingham, it's the posh part of Birmingham. So there's still vomit on the streets, but there's Monge 2 in it in Solihull. The colour names in Farrow and Ball, Elephant's Breath. Grey. That's an abstract name they've given to grey. I think you should be able to go into Farrow and Ball with your own colour names, abstract names, and they just have to create the colour they think you're on about. You go and say, yes, I was thinking of painting the living room, disappointed wife. Just see what they come up with. I was thinking in the bedroom, David Dickon, your son, just whatever they think that is. Well, the guy in the Farrow and Ball shop, so posh, he's like, you know, it's like that. Right. I've realised this, I'm not sure if you get this reference, I realised that's quite close to an impression that I do of Jessie from Little Mix doing a Jamaican accent. Okay, some of you know this. If you don't, treat yourself after the show. Jesus. Oh, right. How to describe this? So, Little Mix are a band, I'm sure you know Little Mix, 4 of them. They were doing like a promo video, I think it was, and they had these cards that had accents on, and Jessie, one of the members, got Jamaican, and this is literally what she did. She went, oh, that was it. So, that was the guy in Farrow and Ball. He was that posh. That was how posh he was. I went in, I said hello. He went, you're Jamaican. What was she thinking? So I went in, I said hello. He went, and I said, I'm buying some paint. I'm doing the living room. And he said, are you doing it yourself? And I said, yeah. And he said, have you painted before? And I said, no. And he went, ooh. And I said, oh no, I tell a lie, I've done this one of Paul Chuckles, sorry. He said, well, I don't much like that. Oh, well, Paul Chuckle was fucking thrilled with it, actually, so... This thing is so silly. I did that painting as an exercise. I just thought he had a funny face. I thought I'd paint his face. And I put it on Twitter, didn't send it to him. Somebody did, because he got in touch. He said, Joe, I love that painting you've done of me. My wife got me some paints for Christmas. I want to learn how to paint. If you send me the one you've done of me, I'll do one of you. This is a Paul Chuckle original. It sort of looks like me crossed with the Joker after a stroke, but I'm happy with it. First thing to go up in my house, I love taking people around. They're like, what is that? Made by Paul fucking Chuckle, actually, so... I do love that painting. There's a few things I love about the house. I love a gadget. So I've got an Alexa. Have people got Alexas? If you don't know what it is, it's like a little disc, and you call it Alexa, and she does things for you. I literally got it because I wanted to teach her sinister things. That's literally the only reason. I just wanted, when friends had come round for dinner and they were leaving, they're saying, oh, lovely to see you, Joe. Thank you so much for having us. I just wanted to go, Alexa, lock the doors. I've got these plugs as well that connect to the lights, and it means I can turn the lights on using Alexa. And I've given all the lights in my house middle-aged receptionist names. So when I go up to the bedroom, I go, Alexa, turn Susan on. It feels nice. A lot of comics, a lot of writers will have next to their bed a pad and pen where they'll jot down ideas, things that come to them at 4 a.m. in the morning that they think are genius. I used to have the pad and pen, but I never used it because I couldn't be bothered, really, when I woke up. Now I've got Alexa, I do it all the time. I ask her to remind me of stuff all the time. Here are my 4 favourite things that I've asked Alexa to remind me. 1, glory hole in a glass door. Not sure if I was going to pitch that to Dragon's Den. Oh, a solution to the drugs problem, which actually I think is quite good. In my utopia, all drugs are legal, but they're all £1, and you have to really want them because the only way to access them is in those grabber machines that they have at fairs. Waking someone to tell them something unimportant, I just love the idea of running into Mum and going, Mum, 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 Mum! I'm really enjoying the latest series of Game of Thrones. And finally, who called them turtlenecks and not ugly shit clothes? Who did that? Who did that? Showed Alexa to Peter when he came round when I first got her. I said, that's good, isn't it? She answers questions, plays music. He's like, it's a piece of shit. Disappeared into the house. Next morning, I was talking to my father at 11 a.m. on the dot, because I remember it very vividly, because Alexa pops up and goes, this is your daily reminder to suck a dog's cock. 11 a.m.'s early for that, I feel. 3:45 at the earliest, I find, for sucking a dog's cock. I've also, another thing I love about the house, I've got an off licence. I love the off licence. It's an off licence sort of grocery. Baz, who runs it, my new best friend, he came round to the house when we were doing the works, and I was outside, and he said, oh, can I have a look? And I said, oh, yeah. And I showed him the attic. I said, this will be my bedroom. And he said, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm a comedian. And he went, oh. And that was the extent of the conversation. Next day, I went into the shop. It was really busy. He ran up to me and went, you didn't say you're a TV comedian. I said, oh, yeah, I've been on telly a bit. It's not that big a deal. Let's not make a fuss. And he went, gonna have fun up in that attic? And I said, what do you mean by that? And he went, with all the comedy girls. And I went, oh, chance will be a fine thing. You know, trying to be laddie. And he leant into me and he went, you're a dirty dog. Anyway, Baz and I have been fucking in the attic for a while now. It's been marvellous. The reason I mention the off-licence is something happened there on the day that I got the house, and I still can't get my head around it. I went in to get a celebratory bottle. I thought that'd be nice to celebrate buying a house, exciting achievement. In front of me was a lad buying a 4-pack of lager beers. Few tinnies with the boys, what's the game? And I was here, there was a girl. It wasn't Baz on the till that day. It was a girl, she was probably about 18, couldn't be much older. And she said to the guy, she said, can I see some ID? And he went, fucking hell, for fuck's sake, this is fucking ridiculous. And then had ID. And showed it to her. And she looked at him and she went, yep, that's fine. And he paid for it and went out with his beers. And I went up with my bottle of Pinot Blush. I was like, he was really full on, wasn't it? Really aggressive and horrible. And she went, he's in here every day and it's always the same. Time moves in one direction. Because I've been in my childhood bedroom most of my life, I've got no stuff, got no furniture. The amount of aunties and uncles trying to lump shit, coffee tables, mugs. Everyone's got a bloody mug to give you. I got a mug from my auntie which has got a motivational quote on it, and I hate a motivational quote. The quote is, you've got the same amount of hours in the day as Beyonce. But not the resources, Janet. I showed it to Peter, I said, that's bollocks, isn't it? And he went, yeah, so did Rose West, see how that turned out. I was like, wasn't my issue with the mug, but you go for it, darling. I've become a bit obsessed with Tap because I'm on my local Sell and Swap Facebook group. If you're not on yours, there will be one in your local area. Have a look at it after the show. What it is, if you're not familiar with the Sell and Swap concept, it's people with nothing to do with their lives trying to sell and swap utter shit that they found in their houses. There was a woman on there the other day. She wanted to swap these sausages. She bought some cauldron vegetarian sausages. She realised they weren't vegan. She wanted to swap them for a bag of fruit, e.g. plums. I know what fruit is. I don't need an example. What is this fruit? Some of the shit you get on here. Wooden snail. Right. 4 comments. Who's looking at that going, I need more information. What is that? I don't know what that is. Unusual unglazed vase. You say unusual. I think someone's wrapped some ham round itself. That's what looks like to me. This one's... It's horrible, isn't it? Horrible. This one's particularly batshit. This is, I'll zoom in on this one. About 120 adult DVDs can easily sell for £1 each, so good profit. Open your boot at work and let the lads dive in. Look at them just on the side next to the kettle. Horrible. Of course I'm trolling this group. Of course I am, with my character Christopher Butterslip. There he is. That's a drawing I did of Mickey Flanagan. They didn't go very well. Done a lot of good work with Christopher. I'm very proud of the work I've done with Christopher. First thing I did, there was a girl, she was selling a Jean-Paul Sartre book for £4. She'd used it in her dissertation. She needed it no longer. She put it on the sell and swap. I got in touch with Christopher. I said, just out of curiosity, could you take a picture of the first page? And because she had nothing to do with her day, within minutes a picture emerged on the group. So then I put, and now the second page. I got to 5 pages before she realised I was trying to read the book through the pictures. Oh, this one was good fun. Little Sammy's grown out of these ocean pals. I've also got about 4 copies of the Gruffalo, looking to swap for something a bit more grown-up, she said. No, some of you are further along here. I suggested knives and saws. That's what I suggested. A nice selection of knives and saws. She put, not quite what I had in mind. So I thought about it for a little while. I was like, oh, I've got some adult DVDs. Let the lads dive in. Favourite thing I've done on the sell and swap, it's pathetic this. I set myself up for a joke. I listed my own thing. I listed a bag of butter mints for £1. Christopher Butterslip, bag of butter mints, £1. Logged out, logged in as me, Joe Lycett, commented, what condition are these in? Logged back out, in as Christopher Butterslip, mint condition. Very happy with that. Oh. I'm a bellend, aren't I? Now, guys, I want to tell you about a little project I've been working on for the last year. And there's no nice way of saying this. There's no easy way of saying this. I'm just going to have to rip the plaster off. For the last year, just under a year, I have been trying to destroy the career of Tom Daley. There's no easy way of saying it. I've said it. It's gone. It's out there now. I've said it. I've said it. I should caveat all of this by saying I think Tom Daley's amazing in lots of ways. He's an Olympic diver. I'm sure you're aware of Tom Daley. He's gay. I think he was pushed into coming out as gay before he was necessarily ready. There was a lot of fuss about it from the gay press, and he's been a brilliant gay rights advocate in lots of ways. You might have seen that him and his husband Lance Black announced a few months ago that they're having a baby together. Shouldn't be a brave thing to do in this day and age, but it was. He got a lot of nastiness, and he's been serene throughout the whole thing, so I do think he's brilliant. However, I now want to slag him off. So... Tom Daley irked me last summer for 2 reasons, 2 Instagram posts, and I'll show them to you now. This is the first one. This is him at Gay Pride. Love the way that he's extending his arm out there to show the parade march there. Love the look of a smile on his face. Beautiful framing there. Before I go into too much detail about this, what's going on with the hand? Where is the other finger? I've looked at it loads. I don't know if it's a lighting thing, whether it was edited out. I don't know how that happens. I've got no issue with any of that, really, apart from the weird finger. I've got no issue with this other post. Beautifully framed again. His skin looks radiant in that little triangle. Marvellous. Brave to wear a tank top, but he seems to manage it. I think it's wonderful. It's a lovely... I've got no issue with any of this. I think it's all brilliant. I have no issue with any of this as well. Happy Pride, everyone. It's been so awesome to take part in my first ever Pride. He'd not been before. But let's not forget why we have this day and how much more we have to fight for in many other social justice movements around the world. No issue with any of that. Brilliant that he went to Pride. I think we all should at some point in our lives. It's good fun, if nothing else. My issue with both of these posts is not what's in them, it's what's underneath them, and that is this. At Barclays UK, #ad. That means that Tom Daley was sponsored by Barclays to go to Pride. And I don't have a problem with Tom Daley being sponsored to do lots of things. I understand when you're an athlete, you've got to make your money while you can. You're not monetizable forever. You might break your leg. Totally get being sponsored. But to be sponsored to go to Pride, which is a political event, it made me uncomfortable. It's sort of like going Black Lives Matter with Tesco. It made me uncomfortable. And I didn't want to make a big deal of this. I thought it's an error in judgment in some ways. Didn't want to make a big fuss about it. All I thought I'd do is a bit of light trolling of Tom Daley. That's all I thought I'd do. So what I did is I went onto this very post and I commented on it with hashtags of rival banks. That's all I did. Hashtag NatWest, hashtag Santander, hashtag HSBC. And for some reason, dozens of other people started doing it as well. Hashtag Northern Rock, a nice nostalgic one. Vietcombank, an international one. Dozens of people did this, and I know that celebrities get paid loads for this. Barclays will have had a PR team all over it. I should mention that I trolled Tom Daley in a lot lighter way about 3 years ago. He posted to his Twitter a little post basically saying, just take the image below, personalise it. Just wanted you to customise an image in your own way. That's all he wanted you to do. Of course, I put him in a smack den. Who wouldn't in my position? Open bloody goal, Tom. So that was it, really, as far as I was concerned. I've done my post, other people have commented, point made. I felt an error in judgment, that was it. Next day, I get a phone call. It's from a friend of mine who's a photographer. He's photographed the Olympic diving team on a few occasions, and he's also photographed me. And he said, Joe, you need to go on Ross Haslam's Instagram. Now, I didn't know who Ross Haslam was at the time. He is another British diver who went to Budapest the day after Pride with Tom Daley for a competition. And he posted a video. The video you don't necessarily need to see. I will show it to you. It's a panoramic of Budapest. It's done weirdly. It's a portrait thing, but he's done it on landscape, which I don't understand. Also, the sound in the background's not great, so I will play it to you twice. But you can hear in the background Tom Daley's voice, and I just want you to listen out for it. Have a listen to this clearly now.
Of the whole the lighting situation.
Now, he might be saying the lighting situation, but I think Tom Daley says the Lycett situation. Have another listen just to double check.
Of the whole the lighting situation.
Does that sound like Lycett to you? I'm a situation. Not sure who he's talking to in that clip, presumably the assassin he's got to take me out. I like the Lycett situation. I'm going to write a book, The Lycett Situation. There's the cover. This has got out of hand. I'm a situation all of a sudden. I didn't want to be a situation. I just was a bit of light trolling and suddenly I'm a situation. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, actually, in this regard, I do want to be a situation because I care about this shit. And I'll explain why. Pride is an LGBTQ+ event. There's a lot of letters there. And often Pride and its sponsors only focus on the G, often gay men with six-packs. But there's a lot of other letters there that deserve our attention. For example, T for trans. I've got a lot of trans friends at the minute who feel really attacked, feel really unsafe. They feel really attacked by the right-wing press. They feel more attacked by my mum's friend Linda. She's the sort of person who says, a woman's place is in the home, and then spends 90% of her time in all bar one. She's a basic bitch. And she said to me once, she said, trans people are unnatural, whilst eating a punnet of seedless grapes, the irony of which did not pass me by. She had a go at me for painting my nails. I paint my nails now. I do it for two reasons. One, I like the colour. Also, I bite my fingernails because they're delicious. And when I paint them, it stops you from biting them. It's the only thing that seems to have worked. And she said, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't paint your nails. And I said, why is that, Linda? And she said, well, it's an essential part of being a woman, isn't it, wearing makeup? I said, I'm sorry, do you think your husband Kevin's going to see this, get confused and try and fuck me? Is that the issue? Extraordinary, a little change like that, the amount of comments you got. Of course I expected some, but not as many as I got. I also wear this coat in the winter months. Oh, I mean, I want to fuck myself right now. That is, thank you. Yes, it's a faux fur. It's a faux fur. I'm aware it's a ridiculous thing to put on, but I didn't expect the amount of comments. I expected some. My favourite was in Liverpool. I had just done a gig at the Slaughterhouse Comedy Club, which is a brilliant comedy club in Liverpool. I was walking back to the hotel. A group of lads walked past me, and one of them went, "Hey, mate, Pat Butcher called. She wants her coat back." And I'm a comedian. I deal with hecklers all of the time, so I went back with a really witty response. I went, shut up, stupid prick. I was so pleased with it, so smart, so in the moment. Well done, Joe. I think what Linda and what a lot of people get confused about with trans people is the difference between sex and gender. Sex is your XX, XY chromosome. That's what you're born with, not lots you can do about it. Gender is what's put on top by society and culture. All of the things that we take for granted. Things like women wear skirts and men ride horses and punch dogs. All of the things that we take for granted. And I understand that women get the thick end of this wedge. The narrow criteria in which women are expected to dress and behave is very restrictive. This is made clear to me in a WhatsApp group of lads that I'm in which this was posted recently. This is Build a Babe. You have to construct a woman out of these 4 categories. The face, the boobs, the butt, the legs. No, the personality, or how much she reminds you of mother. None of that. This was debated more than most wars. They went with the girl second in, I think, the 2 girls on the far right for the boobs and bum, and then the girl second in on the legs. I did a bit of photoshopping. Yeah, she's pretty fit. I mean, not my type. I'd change one thing and I'd be happy, but each to their own. Each to their own. It's quite daunting, that size. So, it's LGBTQ+, if you're interested. That's lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer, and then the plus is for all of the other letters, and there can be as many letters as there are people in the world. Some of the more popular ones are asexual, gender fluid. That's where you don't see your gender as a fixed thing. It can be different things at different times. I was explaining that to Peter on one occasion. He was like, yeah, I know what gender fluid is, but the name gender fluid, you can imagine what it smells like. Fair enough. Gosh, I had a heavy night. Covered in gender fluid in the morning, I was. There's I for intersex. That doesn't mean, oh, yeah, I'm intersex. I don't know what that is, but that's my intersex leg. There's P for pansexual, which is how I now define myself. It doesn't mean that I fuck things in the kitchen, as Linda amusingly observed. Non-stick surface, not when I'm around, Linda. Pan means different things to different people. To me, it's a form of bisexuality. I acknowledge that gender plays a role in why I'm attracted to people, but not necessarily the essential role. There's all sorts of common threads in our sexualities that we wouldn't otherwise acknowledge. You might only be attracted to blonde people, but you wouldn't say you were blonde sexual, but that would be a common thread. I think the common thread in my sexuality is everyone I'm attracted to is not attracted to me. That seems to be the common thread. It's not really about how they look or their gender or anything. It's just sort of more to do with how they hold themselves or how they sort of take control of a situation. I explained this to Linda in a very ham-fisted way. I was in Moseley Post Office in Birmingham, if you know Birmingham. There's 2 tills. There's one here, there's one here. On this till was a very young, very loud, very attractive, young, effervescent girl. She was wearing a Cath Kidston coat. She was going off like a human barocca. She was annoying. She's sort of girl who has live, laugh, love written in her living room, but has also been done for GBH. Do you know, she's an annoying person here. And then here was a really elderly, sort of octogenarian, crunched-over old woman, quite poor-looking, sort of Mary Berry if she didn't have money, just sort of crunched over like that. And she's going, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. She kept saying that, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And in the end she went, I can't hear you because you're shrieking! And I said to Linda, I said, I don't know what it was, but in that moment, the way she took control of that situation, the way she extinguished all of this woman's joy, the way everyone was looking at her, I thought she was so attractive, so beautiful. Obviously, I wouldn't do anything about it. And Linda was like, oh, what, are you ageist? I was like, no, I wouldn't do anything about it because she's poor. But the point is, there's all sorts of new identities flying around at the minute, new ways to describe yourself, and I think that's wonderful. But you've got 2 options when you encounter someone with an identity that you're not familiar with. You can be fearful of them, frightened, take the piss out of them, or be fascinated, ask them loads of questions, be curious. Kind of like when I first saw a platypus. I think they're amazing. They're mammals, they lay eggs. What the fuck are they? The first platypus that scientists found, they found a dead one. They did some scientific tests. Their conclusion, it's a fake. They thought that someone had sewn together a duck and an otter. Begs the question, who did they think was doing this? Like, oh, that's Martin, he loves doing that, Martin. Other day he brought this in, said it was a porpoise, obviously a dolphin and a bell end. Classic Martin, man. So by Pride only sponsoring one of the letters and ignoring the other letters, I felt like they'd done a disservice to the community, so I wrote them a letter. Dear Barclays, you probably know why I'm writing you bitch. You sponsored Tom Daley to go to Pride, daft bastard! Actually, it's great that you're sponsoring Pride. Pride is an LGBTQ+ event. It's about celebrating all of those letters and all the different types of identity that they represent. It's about people who are into kinky stuff. It's about some stuff that a lot of the people who work in your bank would find really weird. It's not just about a particularly attractive gay diver who you can use to improve the perception of your brand. So I'm writing to ask if you'll sponsor me, not to go to Pride, but to one of the less airbrushed events. I want you to sponsor me and my friend Paul Chuckle to go to the Folsom Fetish Festival in Berlin. It's a festival for people who are into leather and being tied up and wearing costumes. I went a couple of years ago and nearly got wanked off by a unicorn. I've mocked up a sample Instagram post. Naturally, the real thing will look much worse. Bob's your Uncle Joe Lycett. Now, bless you. That pasty photo came in handy, as you can see. Very useful there. Not had a reply from Barclays. I did send them another thing. I sent them a painting I did of Tom Daley. I'm not thrilled with it because I don't think it looks like Tom Daley, but I fucking nailed that hand, didn't I? Just out of curiosity, you don't have to cheer if you don't want to, but give me a cheer if you consider yourself part of the LGBTQ plus community. Oh, welcome. The rest of you should leave. Oh, bless you, thanks for coming. Let's talk about another bank that I'm in trouble with. I'm actually in proper trouble with this bank. This is the Royal Bank of Scotland. Right, so Peter worked, not for RBS, he worked in an RBS building in Pigeon Park in Birmingham, if you know it. He was working in an office space in this building. And I went into that office with him last summer. And as a result of that, he had to write a letter of apology to the manager of the building a few days later. And I'll just read to you that letter. He wrote, "Dear Sir, I am writing to explain the incident in your office and offer my sincere apologies for any involvement on my part. I invited a guest to the building to show them a project we had been working on and benefit from his expertise. What had actually happened was we were on the piss and he had a bottle of wine under his desk. At security, he was asked to enter his name for a guest pass. I did not see what he typed because I was dealing with some emails on my phone. They get you to type in your name on a fancy touchscreen as you go into the RBS building. I didn't want to do that. I was feeling silly. So what I did is I just typed in the first two words that came to mind, which happened to be rhubarb bikini. I don't know why. There was a short discussion between my guest and the security guard. This is where the security guard quite rightly said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's pronounced Ryan." And he said, "It's spelt rhubarb." And I said, "Yes, it's Irish." Then a pass was printed and we were allowed into the building. Here is that pass. Subsequently, an image of the pass appeared on social media. I put that on Instagram with the caption, "Someone broke into RBS with the pseudonym Rhubarb Bikini." The minute I discovered this, I asked for this image to be removed, but I appreciate that by that point, damage had been done to the reputation of the business. It got about 10,000 likes. I offer a full and sincere apology for this. Regards, Peter. He was taken in for a disciplinary a few days after we did this. They slid this pass over to him and said, "Do you know this man?" I just love the idea of him going, "That's Rhubarb Bikini!" A few weeks later, I received this letter to my home address in the name of Colonel Rhubarb Bikini. Full disclosure, that's because I've opened an account with RBS in the name of Rhubarb Bikini. Here's me opening the account. Colonel, I went with Colonel, I thought that was funny. Are you known by any other name? No. Born in North Korea, living with parents. He's lived a life. He's lived a life, old Rhubarb. They ask you to fill out a form when you've opened an RBS account to say, is there anything else that would have made your application experience better today? I thought about that long and hard, and I put, yeah, a hand job would have done it, actually. A little hand job would have taken the edge off, really. He rang me, he said, "Joe, we're in a lot of trouble." I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "I've just had this disciplinary. I've been banned from the office for 2 months." And I said, I was really shocked. I'm so sorry. What an overreaction. Like, it's just a silly joke. And he said, "Oh, I don't really mind. Like, I don't like working there, so I'm happy to have the time off." But he said, "You're in proper trouble." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, because you said someone broke into RBS on the Instagram post, they can't pin it on you. The picture's quite blurry, so they're going back through all of the CCTV footage to see what we did in there. We were in there for 8 minutes, apparently. We were giggling in the lift. I can believe it." He said, "They're going back through all your social media to see if you're a threat to the business, if you've done something like this before, whether you're likely to do it again." I was like, "What do you mean they're going through all my social media?" It's like, your Instagram, your Twitter, everything. They're going through everything. I was like, oh my God, they're going through everything. So they will have seen that picture of me pretending to be a vomiting cat. They will have seen that picture of an egg that I put Iggy Azalea's face on and called it Eggy Azalea. God, they will have seen that tweet which I did, which is, I like my sex like I like my Brexit, hard and overseen by Theresa May. God, they will have seen all the times I dressed up as Theresa May using things that are just nearby. I've done loads of these. She's a style icon, this woman. She's a style icon. Right. Take this one, and this is the original, an extraordinary photo in its own right. This is my version. Right. Around the neck is a chorizo. The woman's face is a sculpture that I made. The earring is a courgette. Strong work from Joe Lycett all round. I said, oh my God, they will have seen that sign that I posted, which reads, this seating area is for customers of Costa Coffee only, which I sent direct to Costa Coffee with the caption, just sat here and drank a Cafe Nero, and the shit all you can do about it. I said, oh my God, they will have seen that time I was on the Lorraine Kelly show and gave Lorraine a quiche Lorraine. She was very confused. I said, oh my God, they will have seen those tweets which I did, which started with, I love the Saturdays, hard to choose my favourite, but I'd probably say the 17th of May, 2003, which I followed up with, I love One Direction, hard to choose a favourite, but I'd probably say left. I said, oh my God, they will have seen that picture of Jeremy Corbyn that I put on a bin in my car and called it Jeremy Carbin. They will have seen that tweet which I did, which is, I like my women how I like my coffee, nowhere near my penis. And I suppose if they're looking into the future, they're about to see a painting I'm going to do of the man that runs your building, because I've done some Googling and I know what he looks like. And it's just him in the office saying, no, I'm Rhubarb Bikini. You have been an extraordinary audience. Thank you. Pleasure. Okay. Right. So I obviously wasn't done with RBS. Of course I wasn't. I felt like what they'd done was an attack on fun and on silliness. I felt like there were people that work in that building that want to be daft and silly at points in their lives, and they have to extinguish that desire in the name of security and corporate rules, and I felt that was sad. So I got the email address of the man that runs the building from Peter, and I set up a Rhubarb Bikini email account, and I sent him an email. It read, to the manager, I am Rhubarb Bikini. And I gather you are looking for me. You have been led to believe that I am the comedian Joe Lycett. But this is not accurate. For I am at once all things and no thing. I am a whisper in a dream. I am a homeless man in search of a manual for a Fiat Punto. I am Tom Daly's missing finger. I am a light bulb in my kitchen. I am a glory hole in a glass door. I am a seller of adult DVDs. I am a master painter. I am an online troll. And I am children's TV entertainer Paul Chuckle. Right. Good old Paul. I asked for one of these, he sent dozens. I am all the colours in the rainbow, I am near and I am far. I am everyone you'll ever know, I am each pound in the jar. You can never stop me, for I will always be. Your staff will never show you, so you will never see. But in each of them is nonsense. I know this to be true. So all your staff are rhubarb, and Rhubarb Bikini is you. I also put PS, I'm also Alexa.
I'm Rhubarb Bikini and you should suck a dog's cock.
Thank you so much for coming to my show. Have a great rest of your weekend and lives. Thank you so much. Bless you, guys. So lovely. Lovely. Thank you. This has been, yeah, as I say, lovely. Any questions, any queries, any concerns? Anything I can help anyone else with? No? Okay, right, I'll fuck off then. But you've been so lovely. Do you know what? I'd like to slag off the Black Country before I go. Anyone in from the Black Country? Which part? Where are you from? Wolverhampton, all right. How are you, Bev? That's how they talk. If you don't know the Black Country, they talk like that. I got now neck and now future. I love it. Have you travelled from Wolverhampton? I live in London now. I love it. I really find it pleasing to hear the accent. Have you been to the IKEA in Wednesbury?
I have.
You have?
I've never purchased anything.
Right, why?
Because it's too stressful when you get to the checkout.
It is stressful when you get to the checkout, I agree, yeah. Well, it's stressful in that one because it's full of people from the Black Country and they're all madheads. Listen, I was in the kitchen area when I went round and there was a family walking round and the dad of the family said this very loudly because I wasn't that nearby and I heard it very clearly. He went, "Look at that chopping board. I couldn't chop me cock on that." Is that a requirement of a chopping board that I've missed? Bless you. Well, thanks for coming along. This is the thing, I slag off the Black Country loads. It's because I love it, and I've got loads of friends there, I spend a lot of time there. I went on a speed awareness course in the Black Country. Have people been on speed awareness courses? Yeah, some other bad boys. I thought it was really effective, but my favourite thing about it is this woman at the back who just did not give a shit. She's like, my new spirit animal, she's just there like, "Oh, Rog." And the guy came out, and he was proper patronising. He was like, guys, just shouting out reasons. Why do we speed? Why do we speed? Why do we speed? And she went, "'Cause I'm in a rush." Good, you're in a rush, great. Why do we rush? Why do we rush? 'Cause I need a piss. Realised very quickly he did not want to be talking to her. He was trying to get anyone else to chip in. At one point, he forced this quite meek guy at the front to chip in. It was really sweet. He said, "You've got two options. Have you got two options? You can go by the speed limit, or you can go to jail. Do you want to go to jail?" He hadn't been listening. He just went, "Yes." Any reasons why it's justifiable to speed, why we might be okay to speed? She went, "Well, if there's an emergency, if you've got to take someone to hospital." He went, "No, that's not a reason, is it? It's not a reason. You've still got to be safe, haven't you? Still got to be safe. If you hit someone on the way to hospital, that's two people going to hospital, isn't it?" She went, "That's lucky, I'm going that way, give him a lift." That's lucky, that is. Favourite thing she said, I'll leave you on this. It was terrible, it was brilliant. He said at the end of the session, he's like, "Any other reasons why we speed that we've not covered? Any other reasons?" No one chipping in, I wasn't chipping in. In the end, she just went, "Well, because it's fun." And we went, it's fun, isn't it? It's fun to speed, isn't it? It's fun to speed. Do you know when it's not fun? When you kill a child. Everyone went quiet, and then she just went, "Depends on the child." Love her. You've been amazing. Wow. Thanks so much. See you again. Ta-ra.
Yeah.